So yeah, let's go ahead and just jump right into it. Let's start talking about Shazam. I know we don't have too many people in here right now, but let's just go ahead and start talking about it. So, Shazam. Wow, that was a fun movie. I don't know if you guys saw my my review for it on Geeks and Gamers or not. But yeah, basically I thought that it was a really fun movie. It reminded me a lot more of like a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie than a DC movie. I've never seen a DC movie quite like this one before, and that's not a bad thing. It was really cool how it was very lighthearted. It was very just the word that I used to describe was cute. It was a very like cute film in a way. The way that I just like focused on the family elements of the story and all of that stuff. I thought that was great. It was pretty powerful stuff. The whole family aspect of the story. I thought that was really well done. I liked Zachary Levi as Shazam. I thought that he was just brilliant as the character, and honestly, everyone did a great job in their roles in this film. I would actually say, which is really weird to say, I would say that Mark Strong was one of the weaker elements of this film, and maybe it's not so much just him. Maybe it's just because his character didn't really get very much to do with in the film. Like he had some cool scenes, but I just never really felt like most of the time I think DC does a really good job with their villains, but for some reason this villain just didn't really grab me. He felt more like the weak villains that we see from like the Marvel Cinematic Universe usually. Baconator, Mark Strong had a very A to B character arc. Yeah, I agree with that. And you know, that's not necessarily a bad thing, because the movie did focus a lot on Shazam and his story. So it kind of makes sense. I mean, usually this happens in the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies where so much of the focus is on the hero and their story that the villains don't really get too much of a story arc. And you know, it's not a bad thing. I just found it funny how much this movie did remind me of an MCU movie. Baconator, wah, I didn't get powers and my family sucks, turns into supervillain and murders everyone. Yeah, I mean, it's a very cliched villain, that's for sure. Very cliched. Raymond Henschel, just like Venom, it's going to be the second movie that will have the better villain. Yeah, you're probably right with that. I mean, if they do bring back Mark Strong, they really need to give him more of development, I think. I mean, he has the potential of being an interesting villain because Mark Strong is usually pretty great. But he just needs more. He needs more to his character. Zafad, hey everyone, literally just woke up. Well, thank you for joining the stream, my friend. I appreciate that. Spartan Jeremy, I'm good at creating a starship miniature for my girlfriend. Had a good council last night, just chilling now. You're creating a starship miniature. That is pretty awesome. That's pretty cool. If you're on Twitter, go ahead and send me a picture of it. I'd love to see it. Baconator, I am super excited to see how The Rock pit up against Shazam. That will be awesome. Oh yeah, Black Adam. That's right. He's still supposed to be playing Black Adam, right? I mean, that was like 3 or 4 years ago that he announced that. So, I mean, it would be really cool to see The Rock and Zachary Levi in a film together. Wow. That would actually be really fun to watch. I'm actually super excited about that. Shazam's a great character. I wouldn't say that this is my favorite of the DCEU movies. I would say that probably Wonder Woman is still my favorite. You know what? Let me see if I can pull up my Letterboxd list here for the DCEU movies. I still need to add Shazam to that too, I believe. Let's see here. So I have a question for you guys, and maybe some people, if any of you are more of an expert in the DC universe type of stuff, maybe you could answer this. And this is kind of a spoiler, I guess. So if you haven't seen Shazam yet, you might want to leave for a few minutes here, because I'm going to be talking about something it's not necessarily a spoiler for the story, it's for like the post-credit scene. So Spoiler, just letting you all know. Let me just give you guys a chance to dip out if you haven't seen Shazam yet. Okay, so what on earth was up with the caterpillar? What was up with the caterpillar at the end of Shazam? I was so confused by that because I've never heard of a caterpillar. For some reason, I was thinking of like, what's that caterpillar from Alice in Wonderland's name? Solomon or something like that. I was thinking I was like, why is Solomon in this movie? Oh man, it was really funny. So if anybody has an explanation for why there was that weird caterpillar thing at the end of Shazam, I would love to hear a good explanation for that because I was really confused by that. I was like, why are there talking bugs in the DCEU now? So yeah, don't judge me on that. Raymond said, trust me, Shazam 2 is going to be even more awesome than this first one. I can believe that. I think DCEU has a very bright future ahead of them, and I think they're just going to continue to make more awesome movies. Let's see, Beckinator, thank you for the $5 super chat. I appreciate that. I'm concerned about the Superman cameo. That wasn't Henry Cavill. Are you concerned that they're going to recast him or just schedule conflicts? I don't know. I think they just kind of put that in there just to show Superman in the movie, I guess. You know, it's just kind of a fun nod for fans, I guess. But I don't think that necessarily means that Henry Cavill isn't coming back as Superman. I think he definitely is. I think they just found somebody who was muscular to just kind of stand in at that teaser and stuff. I don't think it really implies anything necessarily for. They probably just found somebody who's a lot cheaper than Henry Cavill. Let's just say that. Okay, let's see here. So no one has any idea who the caterpillar was at the end of Shazam. Let me actually go ahead. Caterpillar. I can't believe I'm writing this. Caterpillar Shazam. First thing that pops up. Okay, let's go ahead and see what people have to say about this. IGN, Entertainment Weekly. Let's just go with IGN, I guess. Okay. Let's see what IGN has to say here. Let me actually just share this with you guys. Okay. Oh, okay. Shazam after credits scenes explained who was the caterpillar. Let's see. The final scene featuring Superman isn't the only DC character cameo at the end of Shazam. The mid-credits scene pays off an Easter egg planted earlier in the film by introducing viewers to Mr. Mind, who is truly one of the strangest and silliest DC Comics supervillains ever. You might find yourself asking, who was the caterpillar in Shazam? That is exactly what I was wondering. A talking, evil alien worm with a genius-level intellect and hypnotic powers, Mr. Mind is one of Shazam's oldest adversaries and a truly deep cut of a DC Comics reference. Briefly glimpsed earlier inside a glass case within the Rock of Eternity, that same case is later seen empty. These moments pay off in the mid-credits scene as he furiously writes hieroglyphics on the walls of his cell, desperately trying to recalculate how to regain access to the magical powers he lost. Dr. Savannah is visited by none other than Mr. Mind, who appears on the cell's window ledge. The brief scene suggests a partnership of some kind between these two baddies is in the offering, with Mr. Mind making a reference to the Seven Realms. So who is Mr. Mind anyway? Well, he first appeared back in 1943 within the pages of Captain Marvel Adventures. In the original Fawcett comics, Mr. Mind is a 2-inch worm from the planet Venus who has designs on conquering Earth. Mr. Mind relies upon his organization, the Monster Society of Evil, to execute his dastardly plans. Mr. Mind has telepathic powers that give him the ability to hypnotize and control minds, and he can also spin super strong silk at super speed. His look gradually evolves from silly, a worm who wears glasses, to sinister in the wake of DC Comics' Infinite Crisis. So, they probably will have him really evolve into more of a sinister type of thing throughout the story. Let's go ahead and see if we can pull up any pictures of him here, because I'm curious of what he looks like in the comics. Is that actually him? Jeez. Okay, yeah, that's pretty, that's definitely a little more badass than what he looks like in the movie. So they're probably going to, does he actually evolve into this thing? Like this weird moth thing? because that's pretty intense. Not even gonna lie. So yeah, I guess that's who Mr. Bind is. Interesting. That was just funny. That was a funny thing to see at the end of Shazam. I was like, why is there a caterpillar at the end of Shazam? So this is how I would rank the DCE movies at this point. Wonder Woman, then Aquaman, then Shazam, Man of Steel, Suicide Squad, Justice League, and Batman v Superman. So that would be my ranking for the DCEU at this point. So yeah. Pretty great films that are coming out from DC recently, so it's really cool to see. Alright, let's go ahead and turn this back to me. So let's go ahead and see what you guys are talking about here.